Hello everyone, this is Espert, and we're back here on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, as always, please bear with me on pronunciations, please, and I will do my best to pronounce them. I have some written out to help me pronounce a few of them. And let's get into this. We have been accused of murder. This is the longest tutorial I've ever done. We've already sat here, played this for over 4 hours, and still in the first trial. I am very surprised by that. The first game did not take this long for a trial. I did the whole trial in one sitting for the first game. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why the Senate ingress into my courtroom? A judicial assistant and a woman, no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be taking place like in the past, much older time period. We're in Japan. Things are definitely different from they are now. Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something? Written in English? It's Giselle Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical facility and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Curer and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curer? What's that? Never heard this word before. It's probably a poison, I'm gonna guess. Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on the note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the courtroom records. Report detailing an unknown poison that Miss Brett has been researching during her time at Yuma University. Goodbye then, and good luck. You have had long enough, counsel. You cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Yusuke? We're out of options here. This really is our last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett? Yes, Your Excellency? If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not very long until tea time. Oh, that went without me clicking. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems that I wasn't clear. I realize that it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel. What is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? What new evidence here? Poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South Africa. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Instantly paralyzes the entire body and subsequent death, even in a minute dose. Above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through wounds such as inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to its inability to render the human body paralytic, I believe the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution to the respiratory arrest as a result of full body paralysis must be found first, or patients die of suffocation. Yes! We're going to present that. Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you are studying under Dr. Wilson at UMA University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? A toxin known as Curar, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. Objection! What? What? Utter nonsense. Curar, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. You wouldn't have done? Sounds a little strange. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Curar before for one simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. Does it exist? Correct, which means no matter what tests the police do for toxins, they never identify Curar. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. Ah! Order, order, order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, Curar has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it was produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. Claims that the animals shot by arrows laced with Curar suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett? Objection! Trumpery. These aspirations are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of the so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain. The other dinners would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that Curar was used. Explain yourself, counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, or as Dr. Wilson did, the effects would go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is utterly unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis and says leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. All the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous. To the observer, it would almost look like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, this final moments would be a... yeah. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Council, actually contains the terrifying poison? This is all very convenient, isn't it? Hitherto unknown poison for which there's no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. If I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must be taught some manners. Shut up! It is you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady! So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them? I'm appalled with a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalism on the unfortunate circumstance of an innocent man to frame him for the heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree? Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. So funny. Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? She's gonna drink it, but there's nothing in it. It's in the cup. Well... as I don't see, why not? Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry? To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the game to end. Cheers. Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness, whatever's the matter. You all look quite stunned. So, no curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, it's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in the grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Oh yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you've given. This doesn't make sense. There has to have been poison in that bottle. So how did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been some poison in that bottle. Doesn't there? But there can't have been. Because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. Bottle of water. It contains no poison. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why Rinosuke? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. But sometimes it's in need of a good staining until it's a dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? That was a guideless end to a promising line of inquiry, Counsel, for which you'll be penalized. Ugh, this whole trial is poisoned. Wasn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have killed her dead. Did I not get that right? Yeah, I guess we'll go with poison in it. The culprit did put QR poison in Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious? Well, the bottle I don't think has it. I think it's a cup. Fool, are you blind? There's no possibility the bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it. That's right, which is rather complicates your argument, I think. I believe the complication can be explained. How exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the courtroom somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Where's the picture of her with her purse?
Yes.
It seems the defense, or should I say, wretched accused, is the only real social complications in this case. You'll be. What did I get wrong? It's the cup. You're making this complication more complicated than it needs to be. Alright, I'll do my best to find an answer that fits the facts. What? Escaped. Like, I want the cup. I guess this one? Same thing. We only have one more point. What am I missing? Online says for me to pick her report.
Yes.
Okay, different. Answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report. That's not a valid explanation. No? After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Suto-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the order. You'll direct us to the pertinent section council, which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to the riddle. Oh gosh. What was that in now? It was in the second chapter, so I'm gonna go with that. We've been hearing a lot about the cure poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, Council? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of arrows to shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there'd be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, wouldn't they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Council, no, that'd be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum. In this research paper here, under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seems a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret that written like this. When Curar enters the body through open wound, it has a terrifying poisoning effect. He burned himself. She used her cup of water on his hand. That's where the poison was. It was in the cup. I bet she used it on the burn. But we thought he was already dead, though. When it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Kiara's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking the water without any danger to yourself. You meddling. Oh, is she gonna break? Little. Oh, she's breaking! Rapscallion! Oh, is her hat alive? Well, Rinosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
Oh, all this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it's possibly... Oh, she's mad. So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he reads in books. I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. Only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, Curar is safe to ingest. Seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh, yes. Well, of course. Trick suckers? What are they? So if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah! That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand now. Order in the court! Logic holds if the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they wouldn't be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest... Yes, this cure poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. She's getting ticked off. What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. So intense, almost rage-like. More than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
Oh, he hit her with one. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. Oh, no, he had a wound in his mouth. He just had dental surgery. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both of you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson's dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence, as we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curer? This one.
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects the cure are only felt when the poison enters his body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it? You use that knowledge to orchestrate this? Is she? She's gonna break, right? Laughing. I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile. But what do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence laying around, you never know what might happen to it. No. I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may just been tragically destroyed. No. What is it? What just happened? This Englishwoman, she just smashed the bottle. And the Supreme Court, what a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from the broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet. Here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it'll soak up the water beautifully. You've neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can't thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not. Or cup. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady? That's right. And really, looking at this photograph, it is clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So, of course, the only person who could have shot him from the front is a little schoolboy. No, you killed the victim that day, using Curar. And then, in order to frame Ryuzuke Naruhodo for the crime. You waited until he picked up the pistol you arranged for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor dead in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit the crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the Professor Dead's body, didn't I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Rinosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now... Is she really going to get away with this? The way she destroyed the evidence was obscene. Rinosuke. Yes. We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence. It's true. So if there's any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So thinking back now, try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Rinosuke? Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss with my memories of that day. Whatever it could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... I'm guessing it's the blood.
Take that!
Inspector Hasunaga, answer me this. Yes! What is it? Ugh, he's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak you took to the victim's table that day?
Attention!
Wait a minute. Where are you going? Shut up. Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in the photograph print with my own eyes that day. And I saw on the wooden base of the plate, the steak was served on. Was a splattering of blood. What? Oh really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way the blood from the victim would have ended up directly behind him. Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the blood was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting up opposite of the professor, as you were. Giselle Brett. Oh, that's not necessarily true. Well, the report says the bullet did not go all the way through him. The bullet was still inside of him and it wasn't a clear shot through. So she turned the chair around to make it look like, during the confusion, she turned the professor's chair around. And hello, Air Machine. Glad to have you on the stream. You just get out for work? I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing? Oh, he's coughing up blood then. This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate. In the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you've been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood stain on Miss Brett's plate. I did, and I'm on the bus. I'll be back when I get home. Twitch eats my berry. Understandable. You have a safe drive back home. We must examine it now. Inspector. The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector. The blood man! Show the court! Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere? But no, that's impossible. I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. Did she clean it off? I wonder. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. Oh, she's laughing again. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. Oh, the swan. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Ah! I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire, I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceeding is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all this when it's over. This sorry-looking state reveals the fact all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, it'd be my guess. What was the plate I saw or thought I saw? Just a figment of my imagination? This is now... I've lost. Rinosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself. Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? The bloodstain was going to clink the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? I'm assuming yes, but maybe no. I'm scared to click. Let's see. We're gonna try it. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Your Excellency, I think I made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of all the evidence. I will not be giving a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court of what you are alluring. Where is my... It's a new clue to be found. Okay. Let's see here. Well, that's the only lighting up there.
Got it!
No, Counsel. I'm afraid that won't do. Oh, am I gonna get hit? Oh no. Oh no! Am I gonna have to redo this? Oh. No! Oh no, I failed. Ah! I got hit too many times. When was I supposed to check it? Oh, okay, we're gonna have to replay that. Ah, okay. We lost that one. Oops. Retry from the scene. Okay, we have stuff now. We present that spot. Why can't we not present either spots? I think we're supposed to... Oops. Ignore that. That was my Discord. Okay, I think we needed to look at this. Examine it first. Examine. Okay. There we go. Huh? What in the world is this? It's that gold coin. This isn't the right state. I think it's the Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hoenn area, I believe. No, I don't believe what it is. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoenn Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a Hoenn Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of a bullion and bouillon. I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means it's not the right. This emblem on the side of the plate. Is it a cat? It's a cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beef steak. Seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware. So this is a symbol of Le Carnival, is it? Okay. So just gonna do the... I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoenn era too. That would make it even really quite valuable. It's well marinated in juices as well, look. What? Are you thinking of eating it? No, but the next time I order steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's gonna be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. Think you might have the wrong idea to stick about this Ryuzuke. Gold coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation. This is the wrong steak. Okay. Okay. Ah! What in the world is this? I think it's... Why is it doing it again? Did I do bad? Instead of clicking it, I presented it last time? Okay. Wait, did you say... Yes, it was. Yes. I already read all this. Skip faster. Okay. I need to actually present that. I found it. I need to present it now. Come on. Need to quit clicking it. No. Go through all the words again. Sorry about that. Let's get through all this.
Got it!
Good gracious. That's... Goban? What on earth? That even surprised her. How an era wanted that. Miss Brett. This is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me. Why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question. How should I know? She swapped the plates on the table. I've never seen that thing before in my life. But let's see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? Simply a bit of careless mistake by the chef. They're going so fast, I'm not doing it. Don't be disturbed. Supposed to believe that this is doing. A rare Hoenn Caban just happened to be hidden underneath a piece of steak. I'm not auto. I didn't click auto. Quit auto playing. If this turns out to be I'm sorry about all that. It started auto playing. I don't know when I accidentally bumped that. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to the Great Britain right now. He's right. Can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency? Yes, Counsel. A rare Hoenn Caban just happened to be hidden underneath a piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyways. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize this is who is irrelevant, even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essentially that we asked the owner to this coin if he explained what was going on under the steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Caban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... this man. That greatly, disturbed people last time.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be an antique dealer and owner of Resute, Kirio Kortakuta-san. Kiri, as in Mr. Cucumber or something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. It's been like 2 weeks since I've seen him. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Goban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interests me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for the treasure. Indeed, the Hoenn Caban, my prize coin. And this Hoenn Caban, do you mean to tell me? No, please. Why would Korakuta-san's Caban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and his plate? Makes no sense.
Yes.
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korakuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, Bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this cabane, find out it's the key element in the case. She swapped the plates. Oh, they're all here on the case. All here now. What's this about? Why haven't I been called up again? Don't you realize it's dinner time for my little baby Ado? Ado. When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploded by the police, we were like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from the courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Russe's shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Kuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Ryosuke memory serves, well, yes, that's it. The one, the very one. Stuck in his foot. Very exact one, that is. The resplendent, splendiferous, hey, treasure that my rusty bow managed to misplace that fateful day. Goodness. It can't be. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaked in the seasoned meat juices. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose? Somebody concealed my Hui treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing. I can't speak tonight. Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hasanaga. I mentioned this earlier on the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Oh yes, that's right. It's a secret underground operation. Le Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similar executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job as a waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this cabane incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid the Korakuta-san cabane is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on the matter. Who's the... Oh, was it the professor? I wonder if it was the professor. Oh, I'm a little worried though. Professor. But he was dining with him. Let's go with him, with dining with him. Obviously, it can only be you. Or the baby's the baby. What? How? How dare you? You monster! Monster? I stole that cabane, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me, it was Ado. Ado is the mastermind behind all this. baby. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's a monster, Sergeant Nosa. Uh-oh, he's gonna break. You. Uh-oh. Wow! Flippity clop, flippity clop. He's breaking down. Ah! The baby's not a baby, we find out. Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Ayasa Nosa, prepared to stand in the Supreme Court, sir. Do any of you know of the extraordinary low wage that Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand the temporary increase in taxation to the recently ended conflict remains in place, and I have heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. And all I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant. The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoyed chomping my way through the good steak at the same time. Sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his kaban. Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot, I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. 802. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could on the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with again at a later date. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett? Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. Bonk. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency. Indeed. The thief of the cabinet was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. Certainly appeared to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Except that's not her plate. Of course it is. Hiding a coin underneath a lump of meat? That's sheer nonsense if such an idea sounds me. Nonsense, is it? Well, oof. And as for picking up your steak and biting it into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. No, don't let her leave. And good day. Inosuke, what's the matter with you? There's no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred within me. I feel like there was a contradiction there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking, make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction? What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryusuke? I'd eat coin and a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea sounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Yes, I'm right. What you said there exposes an undeniable contradiction. I'm gonna need to see evidence, Counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where is evidence you prove? Great. This one. I'm gonna guess this.
Take that!
Let's see. The photographic print of the scene of the crime? The scene taken immediately after the incident occurred? What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see at the victim's table. The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed? Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? Oh, because it's the same one. It looks like it was not eaten with a knife and fork. It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. Oh, I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Notice what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman would even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at the steak. In particular, the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks everywhere. Ah, oh. Oh! It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and... Oh, shut up. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course, this will be all over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything to me. Oh. I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacle samurai relic. Of course. Dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She realizes the catastrophic implication these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Rinosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes, now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had allegedly been eaten with the cutlery. The reason why the blood stain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And the most importantly, evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the state are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the state here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond a doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. This is absurd. The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it. I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of defense in this trial. Who possesses conclusive evidence? He does.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. Inspector Hasanaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this stake with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitted to stealing the coin. He told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watched it, Cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake that you put the coin under, in fact, your own stake? Attention! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the stake that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal. But that makes no sense. The plate was taken from the victim's table. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take a bite of her own steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two stakes over. You did switch the plates. Well, after it happened, the, bang. When I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stake and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my stake with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable! However, fear not, prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant!
Yes!
So, if Sergeant knows to switch the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak, and the plate it was on, back at his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hasanaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah. Oh no, she's freaking out now. That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat can't have the slightest bearing on the case. No, you're not wiggling your way out this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see the plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate, on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splatter of blood from the gunshot wound on the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from Miss Brett? Let's not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. I'm still annoyed that they haven't pulled out the cup that I was sure would have something. Present the beefsteak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir. He's so proud. Sorry for keeping you. Here is the other steak in its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. Uh-huh. The blood stain is clearly visible. Look. Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Norohodo-san to have shot the victim. Ah! It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Ugh, is she gonna break and tell us everything? That's right, Miss Giselle Brett. It's you. Gonna break. Oh, a little twitching. Oh, the bird. How done? By Japanese? Me? By Japanese schoolboy? No. Ah! Oh, the chick fell out too. Ah! Oh, lots of chicks. Ah! A black chick? Oh, that's hilarious. There's chicks everywhere now. Oh, I waited. That didn't disappoint. Now there's chickens everywhere. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. Ew. It was I who took the professor's life, using curar. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water, because curar is unheard of here in Japan. Yes, of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one little sip of his water and it would all be over. I would also place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he'd been dining alone. Leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed, making sure he was sitting in a chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan at the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. Decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of the cure in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right. There are 2 handguns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Place where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I intended. And then, just as you'd bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. Took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor's chair around. Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency? Yes? I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. We're finally wrapping it up. Long tutorial. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. This can't be. Not to like this rookie student. I'm sorry, but you lost. You better start getting used to it, to the tough opposition. Arg! Inosuke Naruhodo. What? Yes? This insult to the Ochi family name will never be forgotten. You've been becoming conceit with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Don't take your sword out. Oh, he cut his hair. A 1,000 millennia may pass, and still the Ochi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo's clan. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in the history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Inosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. I thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that the science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. What is for the young to pursue? Kazuma Asagi. Yes. After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. As for you, Rinosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes. In you, I sense, how can I put it? Unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Rinosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Yay! He's still freaking out over here. Oh my goodness. This court is now adjourned. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happening. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Rinosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Oh, thank you so much. If we hadn't had the research report on Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university to investigate. Your father? Oh yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on the court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikitoba, Judicial Assistant for the Defense. Speaking of... check my notes. Mikitoba. Yes, I'm saying it right. Okay. Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you, after all. Your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikitoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson. Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asagi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what happens in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asagi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. Cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happening to the woman? To the Giselle Brett, I mean? After all, she's guilty of murder. Yes, oh yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hasanaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate. But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who's going to bring her to justice? The British Consular Court will hear her case somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as it's not a serious incident of a highly political nature of our respective governments, they can't revoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that's for the young student. Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe in it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor... You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Rinosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest Le Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hasanaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about the details for now. To Le Carnival, you accompany us, Professor? Of course. Le Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh, yes, thank you. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma? Yes, Rinosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in here, weren't you? The defense is all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh, no, not me. All that tense verbal combat, I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean? That's the point. Listen, Rinosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhero ability to know the truth. But you have to make the choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you choose, believe is even then. Well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stop believing in me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situation time and again, but you never stop looking for the truth. In the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Inosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds serious. What is? Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hasanaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick this up this conversation again later. We should go be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Susato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hasanaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. It was because of the help and the support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. It's the end of the first trial. I thought it might show a picture of us at a carnival. Defense dispute. Yes, we're gonna save. And that will be the end of this stream. We're going to be done. Since we got that chapter done. Wow, that took 3 sittings. Wow, I didn't expect that tutorial to take that long. That was crazy. But we did get it done. That was exciting. I love that. I'm excited to see what our next trial is going to be. And our next, because each one gets longer and harder if it's the same as the Phoenix Wright game. So, fully expect them to take more than 3 sittings, 3 streams to get a trial done. Hopefully next time we'll actually be able to adventure more. This one, we were just strictly in the courtroom. In Phoenix Wright games, you actually get to talk to all the people and go to these crime scenes and collect evidence. So hopefully the next chapter will have a lot more of that. So I am so glad for people who stopped in, for anyone who stopped in to view it, and I thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time in another episode of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Bye everyone!